Minister, as you are well aware, there is outright opposition in communities in Monaghan, Cavan and Meath to the proposal to put overground the transmission cables for the proposed North-South interconnector. You will have heard me over the years state that if this project is to go ahead, those transmission cables should be put underground. The communities affected, the landowners, they have outlined very, very clearly their total opposition to the proposal as it presently stands, and the reports that have been undertaken to date have not been as comprehensive as they should be. Thank you, Achahirlig.
Minister.
Thank you indeed. The overhead alternating current link between the Irish and Northern Irish electricity grids is a critical infrastructure project for the island of Ireland. It will be the backbone of a fit-for-purpose electricity system that will ensure energy security, that will allow more renewables to be used on the island, that will reduce the need to burn gas and coal, that will reduce electricity costs and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The AC overground backbone line effectively binds the two electricity grids, allowing the grids to stabilise each other, providing instant support in the event of a power line or plant failing. It will provide system services and the sharing of renewable power. These benefits would otherwise have to be paid for by significant additional infrastructure, which would involve technical complexities, would cost the consumer more and would result in additional greenhouse gas emissions. If a DC underground cable were to be used, these benefits would not accrue. These very significant savings, estimated to be some 80 to 90 million euros per annum, are the main benefit of the project, allowing shared resources, shared stability and a more robust, more cost-effective electricity system. A DC link would not provide these benefits and therefore would not realise a truly all-Ireland grid. The concern of householders, farmers and communities have been fully considered and addressed at every stage of the development of the North-South interconnector. For example, the interconnector received planning permission in Ireland and Northern Ireland after the extensive public consultation that both jurisdictions require. Both EirGrid and ESB networks have continued to engage with those living closest to the route of the interconnector since then. The 2018 review, referred to by the Deputy, was an update by an international expert commission of their 2012 independent study to examine the technical feasibility and the cost of undergrounding the North-South interconnector. The Commission's term of reference for this update included consultation with the North East Pylon Pressure Campaign, the County Monaghan Anti-Pylon Committee and other bodies deemed necessary. I am satisfied that the concerns of householders, farmers and communities have been and are being taken fully into account by EirGrid and ESB networks, and that the completed project will present the best possible solution for all concerned.
Deputy.
Minister, Prime Minister, I vehemently disagree with you that the views of communities, farmers and households have been taken into account in preparation for this project. That has not been the case. Minister, since this project was first initiated 16 years ago, as you know better than I do, there has been a huge advances in technology which has enabled more undergrounding of similar transmission cables. We know there was a proposal to have overground cables in the Meath-Kildare project. Thankfully, from the point of view of the communities and people living in that area, that project will be going ahead, I understand, with undergrounding of the transmission cables. Minister, the International Expert Commission report that you referred to for 2018, they stated that both overhead and underground are both commercially viable. In different replies to parliamentary questions, it has been stated that Commission report referred to the overhead line as being the most appropriate option. But in the PQ replies, I don't see the exact quotation from the report being quoted, namely that both are commercially viable. Minister, the department people at EirGrid are not supplying you with the proper information if they continue to say that communities, landowners and people living in those three counties have been properly consulted or listened to.
Deputy Smith, I absolutely accept your interest and obviously your clear commitment to representing your constituency and various views. The economics of this, there's always different commercial options, but all the analysis over, it's more than 16 years. I think, if I recall, almost this project first came to my attention 20 years ago. So we've been 20 years analysing the options. And at the end of that period, it's been consistent that it shows there would be a significant cost to the Irish consumer in going with an alternative approach underground, as you say, with the direct current connection. But more importantly, in my mind, even if one was willing to put that cost on the people, it would not deliver us a fit-for-purpose, fit-for-the-future electricity system, for the people in the border counties especially, because for too long, we have really suffered from the division on this island, north and south, in our energy systems, the huge costs and consequences of that, and the ability that this new interconnection will provide to provide balancing capability, as I said, across the border, yes, an instant response and an ability to make sure that we keep the lights on, that we keep the factories working, that we keep our competitiveness as a country. It's that strategic reason for this infrastructure is why I believe we must proceed.
Deputy.
Minister, in every engagement I have with individuals on a person-to-person basis or at public meetings, everybody living in our counties, they will state, we fully understand that this is a critical piece of infrastructure. We are not against the project, but we are against the project going ahead in the form of having overground transmission cables. In other countries in Europe, similar projects can be put underground. You quite rightly say, Minister, for the last 20 years there have been huge advances in technology, and we have seen projects in our own country now thankfully being put underground. Why are we different in Monaghan, Cavan and Meath to the rest of the country? We have certain rights as well. And in all of those reports, 2018 and other ones, they did not take into account in their terms of reference the effects that it would have on tourism, heritage, landowners and householders in the affected areas. So the reports that have been done have not been as comprehensive as they should be. And that's the firm view of the communities that I'm glad to represent in this House over many years, and will continue to represent their views as strongly as I can. Thank you, Cahirli.
The future for our country and our continent and the wider world will be electrification, electricity replacing fossil fuels. That's where the new economy, that's where the Industrial Revolution is taking place, that's central to our security, both economic as well as environmental. And the characteristics of that new network will involve certain locations where you have high-speed, long-distance, international transmission connections. We're building those versus DC. But it will also be absolutely critical for any country and any community and any region that it's also part of this balancing alternating current electricity local grid system that gives you the capability to both bring in the various power supplies we have and provide power to households, business, farms, all communities in a secure, safe and economic manner. And after 20 years of analysis, and after I don't know how many now international reports looking at the options, each of which has come to the same conclusion, I believe it is time for us, for the interests of the community, particularly in the border region, and particularly for an all-island energy system that needs, what the key word here is, this is a backbone. This is not an insignificant piece of infrastructure. It's critical if on this country we're to have a functioning electricity system, one that can be balanced and which can be repaired and which can be restored,
Minister,
and which delivers the secure electricity that we need for our future.